Hey there. About 5 years ago, a young man from Finland called Timo Jäppinen, who's going to tell me I've pronounced it wrong, contacted me because he wanted to set up an agency in Finland. And that's what he's done. Now, I would be surprised if many of you watching this were not either running businesses or trying to run businesses or trying to start businesses or wondering why the hell it's so bloody difficult to run a business, but hoping to succeed. Well, Timo is succeeding under what I think are quite difficult conditions, and I suspect you could learn quite a lot from some of the questions I'm going to ask him. So I'm going to ask him the questions, he's going to reply. If you want a translation from Finnish into English, I'm sorry, his English is pretty good, better than some people in England. I hope you find it helpful. We'll probably put captions up for those of you who don't speak Finnish. So how did you get into this business, Timo? In fact, how did we get into this business?
Well, I was working in my first agency job, which was a very traditional, very small agency in Tampere, Finland, where I was. My title was a creative account director, whatever that meant or means. And well, the main job was to get new business. And at first, I was ringing up people and trying to get them to meet us or meet me. And that worked about 1 out of 10. So every 10 phone calls, I got one meeting. And I thought that was a pretty stupid way to do things because nine people obviously didn't respond, and you have to chase them quite a lot, even to get them to reply.
I was very impressed by the fact that you were prepared to ring people up, and in fact I thought you got a very good result.
Well, I think that in our business, you sort of it may be true for some products or some services, but where in our business where you sort of have to be like a guy that people go to for answer, like a doctor, you know. And I think that's the positioning that you should be after, because it's in the long run it makes things so much easier. But anyway, so I started looking for how can I do this better than 1 out of 10, which was okay, but it took quite a trouble. And so I started using letters. I sent them a letter and then I followed it up on a telephone, and that improved to about 1 out of 4 meetings. And we were selling this brand strategy process, which sounds very grand, and it was very expensive, and nobody bought it. So I got the meetings, and we couldn't close the business. And I was sort of like a junior getting the meetings, and then there was this outside consultant whose process we were using or supposed to be selling, who frankly couldn't close the deals or do what he was supposed to do. And well, that was the thing when I was trying to find like better ways and how can we tie this into more concrete results and actually prove that what we do works. And that's when I was starting to read books on sales letters, and I think the first book that I read was your book. And pretty much I stayed there about 6 months, and after 6 months I was fired or I quit, depends from who you ask. And well, that's another story. But after that, I wrote to you and congratulated you about your book, and you do a great misfortune. You replied, and I kept asking you questions, and you kept replying. And about a couple of months in, you invited me to London to meet with you, and you said you wouldn't hire me, but I have to wait. That you're looking for new business with copywriters, and I wasn't very good copywriter, so I don't think I would have hired me either. But I was eager to get the job or at least stay in that some way. And then I went back to Finland and got another job for affiliate network, starting it up, and that's where I met pretty much all the major advertisers, biggest advertisers in direct response and in general advertising in Finland. And I decided that I don't want to start an agency, and I don't want to work with these people because they don't know anything. And it's not a rational business at all. And I started my own business, and about 6 months into that, I thought that I'm not going to sell learning courses for the rest of my life. So I think I should look into this agency business after all, because that's the pretty much only thing, or consulting, only thing where you can have sort of many fields and just focus on what you are best at, which is selling. And that's when I wrote to you and asked, would you mentor me? And you said yes, and we made a deal.
Did I say I would mentor you?
No, well, I think that was the proposition. I was asking, like, how can I get you to mentor me? And I said, I do all the work, and you just advise me.
And what's happened then was rather interesting, because you ended up, one way or another, you started writing copy.
Yeah.
And the copy was working. I think I remember vividly you wrote copy for some people in Australia, which worked like a charm.
Well, that was I think that you get me sort of like in back room writing copy for your own products. And I don't think that even half of the copy ever ran, but it was very good for me because I was getting feedback on what I'd written. You tried some of the things, and I wrote some landing pages. But I think that the Australian job was the first sort of like a big job for me that I did. And that worked really well for Ken Duncan, the Australian photographer.
Do you think that Finland, where you are starting to succeed, not as fast as you wanted to, but do you think Finland, you're a great student, you're one of the best read people I've ever come across in this business, so you obviously study other markets. Do you think Finland is in some way different to other markets?
Well, you said it's more conservative, which it definitely is, but I don't think that there is any other difference. Most of the marketers, they are not interested in results. There's this very, very small group, which is, I think, slowly growing, and then there's online businesses which are more connected, are more interested in direct results. But other than that, I wouldn't say that there is, because all of the stuff that we, for example, do for Finnish clients, it usually works. So the only sort of hard nuts to crack are Finnish clients, who don't dare to test, or they all want better marketing and they all want more money. But when you show them that this is how you do it, they say, "Oh, we can't do that,"
But would you say year on year, how much do you think your business is improving?
I think we are again dealing from very small numbers, but I think we are doubling about every year.
So
something like that.
In effect, you're saying that even in a very tricky market, if you're determined and nobody else knows what they're doing, you can double your business every year.
Well, I think that it's I think that people would like to think that Finland is different, or any other market or place you live, that you have to we are special here. But if you look at it from the bigger point of view, they pretty much all eat the same food, they watch all the same programs, they wear all the same clothes, they all work, their education is pretty much the same. They may look a little bit different, they may speak a little bit different, but beyond that, it's just people. It's just people.
What's interesting is that Finland is statistically the best educated country in the world.
Well, I happen to work in this learning niche, and while it sounds great, that Finland wins these competitions, but they win it by very small margins, and I don't think that it makes Finns much better than anyone else. It's just that the others are even so much worse, and I think that's and even in Finland the results are tailing off. So, for example, reading comprehension is diminishing. People can't count very well. Then again, Asians are doing better and better every year. So I'm not too hot on Finnish education, though it's better than in many places.
What do you think has been the biggest problem you've had?
I think my biggest problem, and also my biggest mistake, has been not having a clear system that I was using, even though it wasn't a perfect system. But just having sort of any kind of system and trying to work on that, rather than I try this, I try that. And I was sort of like, at the beginning, I was sort of like many clients that I meet. They sort of go try one thing, then it doesn't work. They go another thing, and they go for another thing. And I sort of reversed that now, and I'm only focusing on very few things. And I know that there are lots of other things that I could be doing, but I'm focusing on very few things that I know that are working, that I can improve upon. And only when I reach the level that I want, then I go into the next thing. And I think that this is the same thing that everyone should be doing their marketing. You start from somewhere where you sort of like can pick the low-hanging fruits or whatever, and then you go from there step by step. But rather than just trying to do everything at once, or even many things at once, because if you're a small business, you can, if you manage to use telephone well, or you manage to do letters well, or you manage to use email well, it can be that it's pretty much the only thing you can do well. So I'm trying to maximize the results from one channel before going in the next channel. That's what I'm trying to do, and I didn't do that.
But what you did originally, I was very impressed with. But I mean, I was astounded because you were incredibly persistent. You said if they don't answer today, I'll ring them up tomorrow. If they don't answer tomorrow, so you actually did use more than one medium. You used a letter to say I'm going to phone you, and then you phoned, and you didn't bloody well stop until they answered. Do you still do that, or did you stop doing it?
No, I stopped doing it. And that was pretty much the same process that I explained that I used for the first agency, where we first had just the telephone, then we tried having a letter and a telephone, and the way we got 50% response rate in Finland when we started was that I first sent them an email saying I'm going to write you, and then I sent them a letter telling the whole proposition, and then I just follow them up with the telephone, and about half of them said yes, you can come in, but I couldn't close them.
Because you didn't have faith in what you were selling.
Partly that, and partly because they thought that it was some kind of wonder trick, just one thing, and then we're all going to be wonderfully rich. They didn't really understand like what we were selling.
This was your brand. Was this the brand thingamajig?
No. That was for our agency.
So,
but it was also the same sort of trouble with the other thing.
So if you've got clients who expect the impossible, you're screwed.
Well, I think that the only if I get a client who is willing to test, then we'll do fine. That's the only thing that. If I said that, look, we 97.1% out of the time our creative works and our copy works, and but occasionally we fail. But if we fail, we'll try again, and we'll try again from our own pocket. So this is the proposition that I make them, so I'm guaranteeing your results if you are willing to test. But if you aren't willing to test, then what else can I do to convince you? And that's the proposition that I'm telling the clients, and some get it and some don't.
What kind of clients do you find are the best ones to talk to?
I think that depends. Not the ones who find me out of the internet and join our list or read a couple posts. I think the best clients are actually sort of those that you have to nurture and talk for quite a while, and sort of like build a trust. And for example, one recent one, which was the charity mailing that we did for, I think it was the third largest charity in Finland. They've been reading my emails for 2 years, and they were pretty. And even when they saw our copy, they said, "No, this is not gonna work." And you can't speak to people like that. The usual stuff. And then I explained that, look, this is the reasons why I think that it will work, and it did. So I think the best clients are sort of not those who come out, oh, we're so desperate, we need instant results now, but sort of those who have been thinking about it, have been learning about it. And I think that the best clients are not who know least. I think the best clients are those who know most, and they understand that even though they could do a pretty good job on themselves, but they understand that there's even people who specialize in this sort of thing, who can do even better, and they understand that if you pay them this amount of money, you can get that amount of money back.
That's a very interesting statement. David Ogilvy used to say, "Please God, send us smart clients." Yeah. So I found this, you're not going to get on with the people who are bloody clueless. The reason they're bloody clueless is because they're bloody clueless, and because they don't think, and they're probably never going to get any better. So have you got any other general thoughts about the business now?
Well, I think that it's, the more I do it, the more I see that how simple it is, and if you're just, you can start no matter how off you are. If you're just willing to test with a small bet and then go back and try again, because that's all you're doing. You're making a guess, and then you see what the results are. If they are good, then you improve upon that. If they are bad, then you try something else, and that's all you're doing. You just A and B. That's all you are doing. And if you keep doing it, it's inevitable that your marketing and your business will get better.
Okay, thanks very much.